love story.
Tonight we have a special couple with us, Pastor David and Taiwo, right?
Welcome to the Love Talk Show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Pleasure to be here.
Pastor David and Taiwo, are you ready?
We're ready.
Yes.
Great. So let's start with the flash questions, okay?
Okay.
Flash questions, flash answers. Go ahead, Karina.
Let's start. Who fell in love first?
Me.
Him.
Wow, that was really precise.
Me.
You know, I want to see if this, this agreement,
Continue.
we'll continue. We'll keep to the
I
end.
hope so.
Okay, who's more jealous?
I was going to say
Oh,
you.
can you see?
Already began.
I knew it. Karina.
All
Don't know
right.
the answer to
Who is more romantic?
I would say
that. I think
you.
me. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think so.
What is wrong here?
It's different.
It's different.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, let's go. Who takes longer getting ready to leave the house?
Me.
100%.
Oh, can imagine. Who eat more?
You.
David, I know you. You like
Let me
that,
put my
right?
hand up.
Yeah.
It's me.
That one I
Brenda.
could answer.
Yeah, and put my hand up for that.
Yeah. Who drives better?
Well,
You.
I drive.
I don't know how to drive, so him.
She drives
Oh.
in her mind.
All
My
right.
face.
When I'm in the
She's a
passenger
good
seat,
assistant.
yes.
Yeah,
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 the co-pilot, right?
Who is more funny?
It sounds like neither of us are funny.
Okay, it's a boring
You.
couple then.
Draw.
Joe.
Draw. Okay,
Equally
good.
funny.
Okay, that's amazing. Who takes longer to shower?
You?
Yeah,
You?
me.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
me.
on, David.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, it shouldn't be.
It's different.
I don't know.
But I
It's a
think it
really
is.
different couple. Okay, go
All
ahead,
right.
Karina.
Who is gets stressed easier?
You.
Oh,
Okay.
can you see? Different.
I would say because you're really patient.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Very calm.
yeah. So after the show, I'm gonna ask him to bless me with that. Who's more forgetful?
Me.
Really? I was gonna say
You
me.
always tell me I forget things.
Yeah, but
Do you remember that couple when he asked that? Oh, I forgot.
It's true.
Go ahead, Karina.
Who is more clumsy?
clumsy.
Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
I guess
I
so.
just say yes, so
No, I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
okay. Please, let's
I
keep
accept
the
it.
love talk show that we're gonna have here to fix, a problem. We don't want to do that. Who likes to sleep more?
I think me.
Yeah.
Karina.
Who expenses more?
In terms of duration, how much? Me.
Mm.
But I think
No, I think it's you.
I think it's you.
I think it's you. Yeah, well, I mean, it's debatable, but
okay, so me.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. Who likes to go out more?
Me,
You.
100%.
Oh,
Yes.
really? Who is more organized?
I know, for sure it's her.
Me.
Of course, I know you,
Really?
David.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you, Pastor David. Yes, I know you. No, no.
Me.
No chance. Only, if a miracle,
Maybe.
something
Yeah, can
happened
happen.
after
Maybe a
this
miracle
year.
happened.
I don't know.
I'll give it to my wife.
100% is style. No,
Let me be humble.
Not
I'll give
you.
it to my wife.
not you. Definitely not you. Okay, then. So, Pastor David and Taiwo, how everything began? You said who fell in love first?
Me.
Was you.
Yeah, me.
So tell us, please, how it happened
Um,
and when. Give us some details here, huh?
some details.
Yes.
Well, it was a little bit complicated because
Okay.
when I started to notice Taiwo, it was actually at the end of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I just ended a relationship
Mm-hmm.
because it was something I had to place in God's hands, and God showed me that He had something for me.
Mm-hmm.
So then I kind of noticed her, but then I think my issue I was having is that I was scared that if I let this go, I'm gonna be left with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started to notice her.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think God was telling me at that time that you can't make a decision by letting go of something and have something else.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when it started. Yeah. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Before we go ahead from this point, let's talk about background. Where you came from, how was your love life before? Your life, in terms of course, your love life before. Taiwo, how was your life before?
Before I came to the church, I didn't really have the greatest example when it came to love life. My dad had more than one wife, and I didn't really see that example when it came to husband and wife, a good example. So this is how I saw marriage when I came to the church.
Your father, he was married to two different women?
Yes, back
more
home
than
in
two.
Africa.
More
Yes.
okay, they're
Yes.
in Africa.
Yes, I'm originally from Nigeria. And
Okay.
back home, there's a custom that you're allowed to have more than one wife. And he did.
But I'm sorry to ask, but how does that work? Because he lives with whom?
All of them.
All of them.
So all of them they live
Yes,
together.
all
Okay.
together.
Okay.
But when I was around 3, my mum left and we came to the UK. So seeing this, I was quite young, but I didn't see the example that I wanted to see in terms of marriage. I didn't
But
really
your dad will stay there.
He stayed there. He stayed there because the marriage wasn't the greatest.
Okay.
So he stayed there. My mum came here, and I didn't necessarily see a good example. I didn't necessarily believe in marriage. You have this example of a fairy tale. You get married, you find your prince charming. But for me, I didn't necessarily think that it was possible because I didn't see it. So I was single up until the time I came to the church. I didn't necessarily have a love life. I was single when I came to the church, and I remained single when I was in the church. And I understood that God had a plan for me. And that's when the spark of wanting something in my love life began. Because before, it seemed impossible for me to be happy in my love life. So when I came and I was hearing what was being said in the services, I saw the examples that were in the church. And inside of me, something started to spark. Okay, there might be hope.
How old
for
were you when you start, coming to the church?
I came to the church when I was 14. 14.
Because a girl we know in their 14 years, it's already, thinking about it and even dreaming about, that. So that was something that was completely unexistent for you.
Completely unexistent. I didn't necessarily see anything. So when I came to the church, for me, everything was new. Marriage was a new topic. Faithfulness was something new because I didn't see this inside of my house. Being faithful to one person was something so new to me because in my mind, it was normal to have more than one person, more than one spouse, because that's what I knew. So when I was hearing things about faithfulness, okay, the person has to be faithful. For me, everything was new when it came to my love life. Finding someone, being happy, getting married, everything for me was new. So when I was coming and I was hearing this, for me, it was like my eyes were so open because I wasn't used to seeing this.
I can imagine. You start changing your mind.
Exactly.
The way you see the things.
And how was this process of you unlearning this way of, being one wife, amongst, I don't know how many others, to, receiving this new direction, these new instructions, this new vision, as you said, about love life? How was this process, from where you are to you received?
It was very difficult for me. I think it was difficult because of everything that I had learnt growing up in terms of you have to be independent. I used to hear these things so much because I didn't have a dad at home. I would always hear these things of you have to be independent. You can't depend on a guy. You can't do this. So in my mind, I had all of this understanding of it's just me. I can't I can't depend on anyone. I can't depend on a man.
So you grew up thinking like that?
I grew up thinking like this. So when I was coming to the church and I was hearing all of these things, it sounded nice, but for me, it was something that was clashing against what I knew and what I was taught growing up for the past 14
It sounds
years.
beautiful, man. I will depend on no one, yes.
Yeah,
I don't need a man.
Yeah.
Sounds like, a
Power.
empowered
You are
woman.
stronger. You are not
But-
weak.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even I would hear things like, okay, if you do get married, then don't allow your husband to take control. I would hear these things. And for me, it was difficult because it felt like it was clashing what I was taught. So I was a bit resistant at first. When I would hear these things, it sounded beautiful. But for me, it was like, I don't know if I can do this because it's not what I'm used to. It's not what, I was taught to be. So hearing when the pastor would speak, I would come to the love therapy some years later and I would hear, but inside of me, it was a bit of a clash because it wasn't something that I was used to. So it was difficult for me to make that adjustment into actually wanting to get to know someone, actually wanting to, depend, if I can say, on someone in the future. So it was a big clash for me.
And what about you, Pastor David?
Well, I grew up in a more or less a single parent household. I saw in my household a lot of problems. There was a lot of issues. My mother also even suffered what's the word?
Abuse?
Yeah. So when I saw all of that, it brought a lot of anger and hatred inside of me. But then I had this I don't know. Inside of me, it made me want to have a family.
Okay.
I used to see my friends.
So
a
at
lot-
least you had a different reaction about it.
Yeah.
It was a different effect. Because usually, especially boys,
Yeah.
when they see a broken family, say, I don't want that. I don't need a wife. I don't
Yeah.
need a marriage. So in you, it caused a different
Yeah, it did,
reaction.
because my friends, I used to see my friends with their father and their mother, and I used to go to, their house and see pictures of father, mother, and I said to myself, I always wanted that. I wanted to know what it feels like.
Because you didn't have this
I
in your
didn't have
house.
that, especially that male figure. That's one of the things that was missing. I didn't have that male figure. My mother had to be the mum and the dad, but that was missing. So I always said in my mind, somehow I said to myself, I need to find this. That's one thing I was looking for.
Okay. And of course, when you start attending the church and everything start to change, and for you, of course, consider to be in a relationship first and to be healed. And Taiwo already spoke about this transformation. How was that about you, Pastor David, this healing process?
Well, to be honest, the best thing I should have done in the beginning was to have dealt with that first. But I just thought, once I focused on my spiritual life, the first thing I saw was God becoming my father. That was the first thing God became for me. That father figure was solved with God. So I thought, now that father figure is solved, because that I believed was my biggest problem, I thought, let me go and find someone. So at that time, I found someone in the church. We started talking, we started dating. And for me, I thought everything was resolved. I'm going to marry this person. I'm going to be with this person, because this is everything I wanted. Build a family together.
And another thing, I'm dating someone from the church.
From the church, who was also an assistant.
Yeah.
So, it just seemed too perfect, know. And I also had the desire to do the work of God. They had the desire to do the work of God. So for me, I just felt like this is everything I've been searching for. But I never dealt with any of those things, and it became evident once I got married to my wife. So I should have. I'll be honest, I didn't really take advantage of any love therapy meetings or things like that were...
Tell me why. And be honest, please.
I'll be honest, because, I'm going to be honest.
Please.
Someone teaching you about love, that's just me. Someone teaching you about love, I just thought in my mind, I know it myself. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I thought, I know,
And that is a big mistake, right?
Very, honestly. Big mistake. I just thought, because, love, it's there.
It's natural, right?
It's
Yes.
a feeling.
Yeah, it's a feeling,
Yeah.
and you grow up, you have to be that guy, that one that knows how to talk, knows how to...
Yeah.
So you think you know what love is because you know how to say to the girl, oh, hello, girl, you know, this and that, and then she catch your attention. So in my mind, I thought that was it. Honestly, I didn't know what I was doing.
But you see that this lack of spiritual knowledge about love took a toll in your life.
Honestly, big time.
Yeah. Okay, then. So you fell in love first. You were in a relationship and something went wrong, and you noticed Taiwo. How was that?
Yeah, it was a big spiritual battle.
Spiritual, but I'm talking about how you fell in love. It was a battle.
Why? Because I'm saying this because I will never forget. One day I had a talk with this is when I started to learn about what it means to invest in your love life. My pastor at the time sat down with me and spoke to me because I was interested, but it was like I was afraid to let go of that previous relationship without assurance that she was interested in me. And I was told that's been selfish, God has showed you already you've got to let something go. And she wasn't interested in me at that time. I wanted some kind of sign to be sure, okay, this is the next person I can be with. And I was told that you're being selfish. You can't do that because that's wrong to the person you're with, that God has showed you that you have to let go of, and you're deciding to let go of, and it's not fair on the other person. So I decided to let go of that, and I decided to just put it in God's hands, and I really had to, pray. So I was looking for her from afar, and each time that was going on, I remember I would ask, sometimes the pastor's wife, is there anything there? And it was always no. Okay. Is there anything there? No. So that's why I said it was a battle.
And how was the approach?
The approach.
Yeah.
Well, how was the approach?
Yes. How was the approach?
You
How
took
did he
the
approach you?
initiative,
Or
yeah.
did he send someone, Taiwo? How was that?
I'm trying to think. Like you said, I didn't know he necessarily liked me at the time. But I think what caught my attention in terms of him was when he moved somewhere else. And then I thought, okay, there should be something there.
Yeah.
And then one day we spoke and we decided, okay,
Spoke about what?
he called me.
Come on, you need to be clear, you know. Don't you think they're gonna keep secrets here, Pastor
No,
Dave?
no. I think I had to say, look, listen, you know,
You know how we name these chairs? Hot seat.
the hot seat
Yeah.
is very hot right now. I don't know where the heat is coming from. No, I think I had to say, look, listen, I know that you have the same plans and goals as me, okay? But
So you are the one that approached.
I'm the one that went. I'm the one that went.
That now we're talking. Go
Oh,
ahead.
this is what you want.
Yeah.
I'm the one that went, and I said, look, listen, I'm interested, and you know, and I don't know if you are, but you know, and she.
So you didn't know if she liked you or she was.
To be honest,
interested.
I didn't know. I had to really. It was very confusing because sometimes I thought yes, and then no.
And how was that conflict? Because I'm pretty sure that they had that fear of receiving a big no.
No, that was my biggest fear, honestly.
I
You
can
know,
imagine.
that was my biggest
Yeah,
fear.
I'm asking that because you know, Pastor David, in 2 weeks we're gonna actually in 2 weeks. no?
Next week.
Next week,
yeah.
next week we're gonna have the singles hour,
Uh-huh.
and lots of guys they are scared of this no.
Yeah, it's not nice.
I know it's not nice, but come on, is you know it's like we always teaching here. When you go and we're approaching to talk to someone, you already have the no.
True.
Yeah, the no is already yours,
True.
right? So when you approach Taiwo to talk to her, tell me please what you had. Just a no.
Yeah, that's true.
The no was already yours.
Yeah.
So if you go there with this, you know, with the no attitude, you say, oh,
Yeah.
you know, that's all you got.
Because to be honest, I was praying from afar and hoping that my prayer was going to do something. you know.
Oh, I
My
know.
prayer
Yeah,
was gonna. I was praying and
you
hoping
were
that
thinking
you know,
that you know an angel would come
something's
from
gonna happen.
heaven and
honestly, and then
Yeah.
you know I had to say,
No.
you know,
You have to go.
I had to go. I had to
yeah.
pluck
And
up-
how was for you, Ty, when he approached you and speak about this?
I think for me it was nice to hear, but I think at the time because I didn't know he had ended the relationship with the previous person.
Okay.
So in my mind I thought, okay, he has someone. But when he spoke to me, I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a go. I didn't really know him. I knew him because we had worked together for some time, but because I had never seen him like that, I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna pray about it and I'm gonna give it a go. If it works, nice. If it doesn't work, I have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
It's just to give it a go.
Yeah.
And because we wasn't going straight into the dating stage, it was just
Of
for us
course.
to talk.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, there's no harm in talking to him because we're not going further than just talking.
Yeah.
And for me, I said, okay, we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna pray, we're gonna talk, and we're gonna see where this goes. And that's how we began.
And for how long did you talk to?
you know the dates.
Before start dating?
Around 5-6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
5-6 months we were talking for.
And what you were looking for okay, let me see if I have these and that, ticking the boxes to make sure, okay, I'll start, you know, let me take a step forward now. How what you were looking for?
Interesting, because I think this is where another flaw. I was just looking for, is she good?
Mm-hmm.
She's fine. Has good character. You know, I don't think sincerely I had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think she had more of a plan than I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought, in my mind, I thought I've been fighting for you for so long. You know, I've been praying for so long. Like, if this is yes now, surely it must be the right one from God. So I don't remember really having a real checklist, honestly.
That's the problem of those who don't attend the love therapy.
Honestly.
Yeah,
True.
they
I'm-
don't
I'm a-
know.
I'm a-
I was attending the love therapy, so I had a checklist.
So go ahead, Taiwo, because you know there is
Well done.
No, but there's a time in the
there is a
story where
void
there
here
will
in
be
this
change.
the love story.
No, there'll be a time where it will get better.
So at the time, I was attending the love therapy. At first, I wasn't attending before. But my friends would attend, and they would always invite me to attend the love therapy, but I wouldn't attend. So I started to come to the love therapy, and I was taking part seriously and faithfully. And everything that was being said, and I thank God I was attending the love therapy at the time, because I was putting into practice everything that I was receiving in those meetings when it came to our relationship. So I was looking for, the most important thing wasn't just the going out, which is something that I learned in the love therapy. It's not just about the hugging, the kissing, the dating, the physical side. It was mainly for me the spiritual. I wanted to see who he was. I wanted to see his character. I wanted to see if he was someone who spoke the truth. These are the things that I was really looking for.
If you knew that before, Pastor David.
It's actually saying this. When I look back, what I was just looking for was, let's go out, let's have time together. You know, I know you're already fine. The boxes are ticked. I think I know you're good. Let's go out. Let's do this. So then, because she was thinking like this, sorry to cut you, but then I'll get frustrated because I'll say to myself, well, we're out, you know, let's have fun. Let's just have fun. It's our day. Let's have fun. That's just honestly.
But she was spiritual.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I think, because I was looking for all of these things, it really helped in terms of us. But then I think there was also a part where, because I was looking so much at him, there was a time where I slowly started to stop looking at myself, if I can say.
Okay.
So I was ticking the boxes with him. Okay, he's someone who has a good character, someone who would speak the truth. If he said we were going to meet at this time, he would be there at this time. And if he couldn't be there, he would let me know. So these are the things that I was really looking for. I wanted to see how he was with his authorities, if I can say. You know, how he would react when someone would correct him, when someone would rebuke him. These are the things that I was really looking for in terms of who I wanted to marry. I wanted someone who had a good character and someone who was of God. This for me was very important. So we were ticking these boxes in terms of us, in terms of him. This is the characteristics I want to see in him, because there are people that do this. They only look at the person. This is what I want in this person, but they fail to look at themselves. And because I was focusing so much on the things I wanted to see in him, there was things in myself that I wasn't necessarily also ticking in myself. And
basically, you had to do his job.
Yes.
Yeah, because he wasn't because he wasn't attending the love therapy. I'm sorry, Pastor Dave, but you deserve that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. As time went on, I realized that I noticed that she always had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. When I say 1 foot in, 1 foot out, as in she was always, okay, we're going to go, but I'm ready in case anything happens. And I think I just went 2 feet in. I dived into this and I just believed this was it. So God showed that we needed to spend time separate and just work on ourselves. And I realized that I had a lot of work to do with myself. And one of them was, as Pastor James keeps saying, was actually to start attending love therapy.
Yeah.
That was actually something I had to start doing, because I realized that there was a lot of mistakes I was making, and I was just, and she had to go. So we decided, we both came, we made an agreement. It was the Holy Spirit himself. We decided, we need to separate. I need to work on myself. She saw that she needed to work on herself. And that was that period that we had separated, starting in Caribbean.
You know, at least that was good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you continue the way you were, you were doing, probably you wouldn't be here tonight.
Definitely, I think definitely. The way we were not. It's funny because spiritually speaking, we were good.
Yeah.
But in terms of relationship-wise, I don't think we were ready.
And once again, that's why it's important, the importance of the love therapy. Exactly. Pastor David, so how long was this break?
Wow, this break
10 months.
was 10 months.
Yes.
Oh, it was a long break.
10 months?
I remember Pastor David carrying some buckets like that. Oh, yeah. So what happened, David?
It was a long time.
I remember the long face.
Carrying the cross, literally carrying the cross.
I carried my cross. I never forget. It was Friday, so I was in white. I was carrying the cross.
Yes.
And the guy was drunk.
Crossing
and
the Brixton
"Hey, carry
station.
this cross."
Do you remember crossing the Brixton
Literally.
station, carrying the cross Friday? Oh gosh, that was amazing. Good times. But let's keep the good times there in the past.
This period was really good, very humbling, because you had to admit that I didn't know. You get used to, you get used to learning things and thinking that you know, but I really had to humble myself and understood I didn't know what I was doing. I needed God's help and I needed to be taught. So this period was very good. And in this period, I had to really let go of my love life in God's hands. I had to let go of it so much that I said to God, if she's not the one, because in my mind it was always Taiwo. It was always Taiwo. But I never forget. I remember I made a prayer. I said to God, God, if it's not her, whoever it is, I'm not worried. I'm not interested. I'm putting everything in God's hands. And it's funny, the moment I did that, but sincerely, that's when things just started happening. To the point that, you know, we got back together, and it was like this. It was literally like I felt like God had really worked in me. I had to deal on myself. I had to deal with my past, surprisingly. I never thought I'd have to work on myself and things in the past. But all of these things I was getting during the love therapy. So by the time we came back, honestly, I was not the same. And we both agreed, right?
Yes. I think during the time we broke up, there was a special purpose that they were doing in the love therapy at the time. I don't know if anyone remembers, but we had the purpose of building. We had a special purpose for I think maybe 5 weeks, and we were speaking about the roof, the door, but in a spiritual.
I remember. Do you remember that when we had the purpose? It was literally building a house.
Building a house.
Yeah.
And I remember I was already attending the love therapy before then, but this was during roughly the time we broke up. And I said to God, I'm going to do this purpose seriously, because many times we take part in different purposes, but maybe you don't do it properly. And I said to God, I'm going to take part in this purpose, not for my love life. I'm not taking part to find someone. I'm not taking part to get married. I'm not taking part, to be with someone. I'm taking part to build myself, not to build my future, not to build my marriage, not to build my perfect person, but I'm taking part in this purpose of building the house to build myself, to work on me. And that's what I was doing in the purpose. And I started to work on myself. At first, my mind was on him. So every time I would see him, I would want to know how he was, or which branch he was in, or my mind was on him, until one day the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said to me, look, Taiwo, forget him. Work on you. If he wants to move on, let him move on. And I remember even at the time, it came to my attention that he had been introduced to someone else. And there and then the thought came into my mind, that thought of panic. But then there and then God spoke to me and said, if he's not the one for you, Taiwo, amen. And before, if that thought came into my mind, I would literally panic thinking, what am I going to do? But there and then I had peace inside of myself because I had been working on myself. I had peace in saying, God, if he's not the right one for me, I'm okay with it. Honestly speaking, you will prepare someone better for me. But the most important thing is I am well with myself and I am well with you. Tomorrow, you will provide someone else for me. So we after some time we came back together, and like he was saying, it was completely different. This time our focus was different. This time it wasn't about dating and talking and this and this. There was times that we wouldn't even speak for maybe like a day because he was maybe busy with something, and it was okay. If I can say, we were both determined, if this relationship isn't from God, we are okay to cut it. We wasn't this person of it must be you. If it's not you, we're gonna go against God or go against people.
We would even say it to each other. Listen, we'll say all the time, listen, if it's not God's
God
will,
asks
I'm
is,
ready.
That's it. And I think that's what gave me the assurance, because
And for those who doesn't know the author of Love, it can sound a bit cold.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's where are the feelings? It's not, and that's the amazing thing about the intelligent love. The intelligent love, yes, there's feeling there. There are feelings present in the intelligent love, yes, but it's not based on these feelings. It's based on intelligent decisions. It's based on a clear vision that you have about the other person and also about yourself.
And trusting God. Because you did this. You surrendered in God's hands. You said, okay, God, it's your will, it's not mine.
Exactly.
So you surrender. And then there are many people, they don't have this courage to pray like that, to surrender God's hands.
Exactly.
To put their relationship in the altar. No. Is he? I know, I have assurance.
Yeah.
But you did this. You trusted.
So, after this 10 months, you get back together, and as you said, everything was different, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And when you were sure, Pastor David, that okay, she's the one. Let me sign the paper. Let me make it official. Let me, take it forever.
I think at this time I had my list now. So I had things. So I was, writing, and I think one of the biggest things is I saw that she was not like completely attached to me. I saw that it was not a matter of, clinging to me, or she was very independent with God. I saw moldable. I saw we can work with each other, and I presented it to God, and I said, God, because I was making a purpose, also praying on the altar about it. and I presented it to God. And I think what just gave us the assurance is when, you know, we spoke and we were able to share the plans, goals, and see that everything was different. So I said, no, this is now, because I know that I've changed. I've seen that she's changed. This relationship has future. We have a calling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when I got to the point of saying, no, this is God's will.
And how was that for you, this assurance?
For me, it was like a peace that in terms of him. I was praying about him because one thing, when I came to the church, I asked God, my God, I never had a boyfriend before I came to the church.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came to the church, I had this understanding of doing things right. And I said to God, my God, this was my prayer. I said to God, my God, the first person that I date, I want this person to be my husband. I don't want to get it wrong in my love life, because I had seen people get it wrong. People in my branch, elsewhere, my family. And I said to God, my God, I don't want to get this wrong. I want to do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my prayer. And every time I would pray, I would have a peace about him. I remember we even took part in a campaign of Israel. We were getting married, I think 2 months later. And we took part in a campaign of Israel. Both of us, we had money saved for our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at each other and we had this piece of, okay, this is our money for our wedding, but
like
we would
there's
rather
no-
have the confirmation from God than have the
I
perfect
think
wedding.
that gave the strongest assurance, to be honest.
We can have this money and have the perfect wedding, and it's not the right person and end up in a terrible marriage, or we can sacrifice for the confirmation that only comes from God. So we sacrificed the money that we had saved for our wedding, and we placed it on the altar. And from that campaign, we both had the assurance that, okay, this is the person that God had prepared from us, from the list that he was making, from the campaign, from God put this confirmation inside of us. This is the person that I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not perfect, but through this marriage, through this union, he's going to help you and you're going to help him. And that was the peace that came from God.
Good.
Now is the second part,
Yeah.
talking about marriage.
Yeah.
That day is wonderful, right? You know, our wedding day was 15 years ago, and we still remember. You know, not everything, of course, but it's something memorable. But we know that real life starts day 2, right?
Yeah.
When you are alone, where there's no guests, where there's no cake, nothing. It's just you and her, and that's it. How was that for you? The very beginning of your marriage. Let us start with you, Taiwo. How was that for you? Because you said we are talking about someone that is baptized with the Holy Spirit, a woman of God, born of God, that has the Holy Spirit, the presence of God. But how do you think that those roots, you know, that those problems you mentioned, you know, you brought your upbringing, you know, only with your mom, you know, having that strong personality of being independent, not dependent on men. Do you think that thing somehow, you know, interfered in your marriage? I don't know if you had little issues in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely, Pastor. I think, like you said, even though you change, you still have these things that linger with you throughout your time. And I saw these things lingering when we got married initially. So I brought into my marriage this very independent mentality of not wanting to ask before doing certain things. So if I wanted to go, for example, somewhere to the shop or go somewhere, I would go, and I wouldn't even think to ask, oh, let me just let him know I'm going somewhere. I would just go. Or if I wanted to buy something before, I didn't need to ask my mom to buy my own things. It was my money. I could buy whatever I wanted to buy. And I had the same mentality of just buying what I needed to buy without having to ask, okay, I'm going to buy this week, or I want to go shopping to buy a few items. I would just go and I would just buy, and it would cause problems between us. And I think another thing that kind of caused problems was, even though we both had the Holy Spirit, we both thought we were so alike. And I'm sure you would agree. We thought we were so alike, honestly speaking. We had the same goals, everything. So when we got married, we realized just how different we were. Completely different.
It's
honestly.
a revelation.
It's really a revelation. I don't like to go to the park. He likes to go to the park. He likes quiet. No, he likes noise. I don't like noise. So we saw that we were so different. And I think because we both had the same mentality, spiritually speaking, in terms of we had the same goals, the same vision, we both wanted to serve God on the altar, I think that made us think that we were so similar. So when we got married, we realized, wow, like we're opposites. We're so different. And I think that's caused a bit of friction between us as well.
Do you remember when she used to go to the, to buy shopping things by herself, and
Yeah, it was.
How is that for you, Pastor David?
It was strange because I didn't understand in the beginning. For me, I was a bit, I don't know the right word to use, but I was a bit like, no, this is disobedience. This is, this is wrong. It doesn't make sense. Because in my mind, I just understood you should already know.
Okay.
This is how it should be. So it was challenging. And then when that would happen, I would feel like my authority was being challenged, and then you would feel like I have to say something, or I have to make sure she understands. No, you can't do this, you can't do that, because I would feel like, it's like you're trying to, I don't know, like overstep.
But obviously that was not your intention to challenge him, to confront him. Definitely, that wasn't your
It was just
intention.
what I was used to. It was what I saw. It was something that I was used to, and for me, it kind of seemed normal. It seemed like this is something that I've been doing for the past how many years.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, it's something that I could continue. I don't think I would need to ask for every little thing, because being told growing up, okay, you have to be independent. So I have to ask to buy lipstick.
Yeah.
I have to ask to buy something that I need.
It's not about asking, but it's just communication. It's not
Exactly.
asking, because when you say asking, sounds like,
Sounds like
I need a permission to buy lipstick.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
When you would get angry, I wouldn't understand. Why are you getting angry? Just
So,
because
do I need
bought
your permission
something?
to buy a lipstick?
Yeah,
So-
I would actually think this. And then it would make me think, okay, so this is what your mum said. Maybe he's trying to dominate you. Maybe he's trying to take over your life, kind of thing. So these thoughts would come into my mind. I would remember what I was being told before, and it would make me think, okay, so this is what you were being told, so now you have to be careful. So these are the thoughts that I would have inside of my mind when we first got married. And it was a bit difficult to adjust from that mentality and understanding that, okay, you don't need to ask for everything, but it's just consideration. You're no longer one, you're now two.
Yeah.
So what you will do by yourself is not something that you can do now. And I also saw that another thing that I brought into our marriage was I was a bit jealous at the beginning. And I wouldn't classify myself as a jealous person. I had the Holy Spirit, I was an assistant. If you were to ask me, what is something you need to change? I would never say jealousy. Never. It would never cross my mind. But when we first got married, I realized that I had a tendency to be jealous at the beginning, and I didn't understand where it came from. And it's like you were saying, Pastor, marriage truly shows who you really are. So it's something that I would never have seen before I got married. But when I got married, I saw, wow, this is inside of me.
Yeah.
So
It's like a mirror.
it really is a mirror.
Yeah.
Everything what is inside.
And what about you, Pastor David? It's time for you to confess your flaws as well.
Let me confess. What my case was, I think, when we did the marriage course, and we in my mind, I thought we are ready, we are well equipped. There is no way we're going to have problems. We have all the tools, we've done everything, we've marriage course,
Had the diploma and everything.
I've graduated. So when we started having problems, I was very confused. In my mind, we're only having problems because she's not following what we've learned in the marriage course. We're only having problems because she's not following what we learned when we read the book. We read the book, Bulletproof Marriage, together, 120 minutes to shield your marriage. So I just thought, it's impossible. If we just follow what's here, there's not going to be no problems. So that was the first thing, and then I was very demanding, because I thought, look, she never liked me in the beginning. I fought hard for her. I had to pray. I had to fight. I fought so hard. So it's like, it's almost like, she was never that open with me in the beginning. So I thought, now we're married, you're going to be open, you're going to be there, always supporting, showering me with love and all these things like this. Like today we say that I'm more romantic than her. But in the beginning, that was very confusing, because I never understood why I wasn't getting nothing from her sometimes. I don't understand, I'll be wondering, how come I'm doing this? You're not doing anything back. And it started to think, well, you don't love me anymore. What is the problem? So this would cause a lot of issues, a lot.
A lot of emotions.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
But that's how it starts, the adaptation. That's why there is the period of that adaptation. What is to adapt to each other is to lose, a little bit of your own way, and also to acquire a little bit of their way. And it's like Bishop Macedo already said many times, the example of the two potatoes, right? You boil them, and after you have to start, mashing them, and after you meshing them very well, they will become just one thing, not two. And this process sometimes can be a bit painful because you have to lose.
Yeah.
You have to lose. You have to
Of
sacrifice.
feelings, because of emotions.
And most of the times,
Yeah.
that's the core of the problems, emotion, feelings, little things that they don't make, a big difference. How important is for you today just to say, David, I have to go there to the Poundland to buy something. That's nothing. But for you it was a big deal in the very beginning, right? And also for you, saying, "Oh, you don't say you love me," and blah, 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 but no, it's different
It's more
because
than
you.
your words, isn't
Exactly.
it?
Because probably today you already found out that she has a different way to express her love.
After a while.
Yes. But how was this for you? Because of course I'm describing here the process in general, but how was this process? You buy you two potatoes, till you become one. How was this for you?
It was two hard potatoes.
So you didn't boil enough.
No, it didn't boil, honestly, isn't it?
Yes, I think, like you said, Pastor, we both had to lose. We
Yeah.
both had to lose to gain. Because there were certain things about myself, about him, that I really liked, that I didn't have. Because, like he was saying, I'm not someone who's very loving. I'm not someone who goes around kissing everyone.
Because you
hugging
didn't have
everyone.
that.
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I had sisters, but I didn't really, I don't know, like hug and kiss my sisters and show affection in this way. This wasn't me. So it was something that I didn't know how to do. Honestly speaking, it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do it to him. I just didn't know how to. And that was something that I decided I'm going to take from him. It's something that I didn't have. I was honest to say I didn't know how to do this very well. So I want to take from him. But in order for me to take from him, I had to lose. I had to take the parts of myself out so I can take from him and give to me, if I can say.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy because it meant me having to do smaller things here and there to try and become better, to try and take part away from me and have more of him, if I can say. So it was a bit of an adjustment for me, if I can say, because I needed to, if I can say, change in order for me to be better. So for me, it was a transitional period.
And how was this for you, Pastor David?
It was really difficult because I really struggled to understand why I couldn't understand that the reason why we're having these issues was because we're different. But I think what helped me to start to change was when I remember there was a meeting that I think was either Bishop Renato or Bishop Macedo was revealing about love, which is that you don't get into a relationship to make yourself happy. It's to make the other person happy. And many people, they're wrong when they say, no, I want to make myself happy. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. And I realized that, my biggest mission is I have to make her happy. And for this to happen, I have to be willing to put myself aside.
That's true.
To put myself in second place. And that was hard because the things I was demanding is I'm first. Or, it doesn't make sense. This, that. Small things. But when you put yourself in second place, these small things, they no longer matter anymore, because at the end of the day, it's just trying to make the person happy.
And we're talking, of course, after marriage, right?
This happened.
That's why we always say, love comes after marriage.
Yeah.
Because then it is there where you understand how to give, how to sacrifice. Because if you didn't have this willingness to sacrifice, Pastor David, for sure, you would be here today in a different position.
Yeah.
Not to share your love story, but to share a tragedy, probably, right?
To sacrifice your one will to please her.
To please her.
Yeah.
But how is that today?
No, today there's a better understanding. It's a growing understanding, which is, sometimes sometimes it's I think I remember there was a message once about a team, and sometimes, letting things go means you win.
Yeah.
Holding on to things means you both lose.
Yes.
So we learn sometimes is, okay, this one can go, no, this one, and it actually makes everything flow. Thank God.
So, Pastor David and Taiwo, what is your advice for those who are watching us now? You who used to reject the law third, Pastor David, what do you have to say to these people? Tell them here, please.
Be humble. That's my first word. Be humble. Be humble to recognize that you don't know. And you need to learn, and after you've learned, be ready for the next step, which is to actually put it in practice. Especially when you're in a relationship and you're married. When you're in a relationship to married, everything that you've learned, when you enter in, is like you start from scratch now. Now you have to start to put in practice. So be humble and put into practice everything that you're learning.
Tai, what is your advice for those who are watching us now?
For me, it would be to invest. And one of the greatest investments that you can make in your love life is attending the love therapy. To invest means, you don't necessarily have it now, but you're investing for your future. You're putting something aside for your future, and the love therapy does just that. It helps you to invest for the future, and you don't necessarily need to have something substantial. You don't need to be married. You don't need to be dating to invest. You can invest whilst being single.
Pastor David, we have to finish the program. Once again, thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
See you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.